Hey guys, how's it going? In today's video, we will be ranking every film from the Jurassic franchise from worst to best, from 1993's Jurassic Park to 2022's Dominion. Each film will have a brief review with my thoughts on the individual films. If you do end up enjoying the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. With that out of the way, let's begin, starting with the worst film in the franchise. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is easily the worst film in the franchise due to it having way too much going on and that there are a lot of problems with the movie. The auction bits were unnecessary, and I feel like the movie should have ended when they left Nublar for good. The Indoraptor looks cool, but feels a little too outlandish for a Jurassic film. At least the Indominus Rex looked like something that could have existed in real life, and every dinosaur villain after the Indominus was a downgrade compared to it. The biggest problem with the film, however, were the human characters. None of them are likable apart from Owen and Ian. Claire, even though she isn't nearly as bad here as she was in the previous film, is still the worst character to come out of Jurassic for me. Franklin Webb and Zaya Rodriguez had no reason to be in this apart from merchandise purposes. The villains are bland and generic, and the little girl Maisie is absolutely pointless. I mean, a human clone? Sure, this will go more in depth in the next movie, but come on! Why does every Jurassic film have to have a kid in it? Jurassic Park had Tim and Lex Murphy, The Lost World had Kelly Malcolm, Jurassic Park 3 had Eric Kirby, Jurassic World had Zach and Gray Mitchell, and Fallen Kingdom and Dominion had Maisie Lockwood. Can we just have one Jurassic film without the involvement of a kid? However, there are some good things about this movie. The first half of the movie on Isla Nublar was great with the eruption of Mount Sibo. The opening scene was quite good when the crew was trying to find a fragment of the Indominus Rex, and this time around, there's no big carnivore to treat our girl Rexy like a punching bag. This movie definitely belongs to the little dinosaurs, with the final battle between Blue and the Indoraptor. Rexy had no involvement in this exchange, which I find interesting. The battle itself was also fun to watch, if it didn't cut to Maisie screaming, that is. Speaking of which, what is the Indoraptor's obsession with Maisie? The reason it lost to Blue was because it was too distracted on the little girl. Overall, the movie is a hot mess. The first half was great, but anything after that was garbage. Jurassic World Dominion was an improvement over its predecessor, but not by much. Just like with the last film, there is too much going on, but at least this time around, there is a lot more dinosaur action. This movie centers around the dinosaurs adjusting to life on the mainland, or at least we were told. Instead, the movie focuses on one of the most dangerous dinosaurs to ever come out of Jurassic, and the biggest problem with the movie: locusts. Yes, apparently locusts are the main bad guys in this movie, and they were created by none other than Biosyn Genetics. Wait, if Biosyn is behind this, then that means, yes, that's right, it's safe to say we've got Dodgson here. Huh. Even after all these years, nobody cares. In all seriousness though, it's been way too long for Lewis's return. Why Michael Crichton had to make The Lost World a completely different story altogether, I still have no idea. Going back to the locusts for a minute, you might be wondering if maybe it's just like Fallen Kingdom, where there's no big bad carnivore to push Rexy around, right? Wrong. There is another big bad dinosaur in the form of Giganotosaurus. Also, remember how I said that Fallen Kingdom pretty much belongs to the little dinosaurs? Well, Dominion is the exact opposite. The big dinosaurs own this movie. Seriously, there were so many large prehistoric species in this film. You had T-Rex, Giganotosaurus, Therizinosaurus, Dreadnoughtus, and Quetzalcoatlus. Also, while in the last film the final battle was between Blue and the Indoraptor with Rexy having no involvement, this film has Rexy in the final battle without Blue, and Blue's barely even in this movie, and has a kid of her own named Beta. Speaking of kids, Maisie Lockwood has returned, and her story goes more in depth. It turns out she does indeed have a mother who cloned her by modifying her genetic code to get rid of the disease that her mother has. Also, the final battle is definitely the weakest climax in the entire franchise. Are there any good things about this movie? Yes, I think there are. The return of Dr. Grant, Dr. Sattler, and Dr. Malcolm are definitely the highlight of the movie. The amount of dinosaurs in the movie were very abundant. The Therizinosaurus had a pretty creepy scene when it was hunting Claire, and has a pretty cool design. In fact, a lot of the dinosaurs do, and the scenes with the T-Rex and Giganotosaurus are pretty fun to watch. The Giganotosaurus has a terrifying roar, and the first part of the final battle, when it was just it and Rexy, was pretty epic and a cool fight to watch. Once the Therizinosaurus got involved, however, the battle went downhill, but apart from that, it's one of the better fights in the film. I also think the Giganotosaurus, as cool as it looked and as scary as the roars were, was poorly utilized. They treated the dinosaur less like a threatening monster and more like an animal trying to survive, and it's the only villain in the Jurassic World trilogy that I actually felt sorry for. Overall, the story is very complex to follow. The plot with the locusts go absolutely nowhere and shouldn't be in the film to begin with, and the world characters such as Owen and Claire have clearly overstayed their welcome. Especially Claire, but we'll get to that later. Jurassic Park 3 is often called the worst film in the franchise, but I don't think that. Saying that, is it bad? Yes, but it's entertainingly bad. The film stars Dr. Alan Grant, who is summoned by a couple named Paul and Amanda Kirby, who tell Grant that they want to go sightseeing on Isla Sorna to look at the dinosaurs and that they need a tour guide. Dr. Grant only agrees when he's given a handsome amount of cash. In reality, the tour is actually a rescue mission in order to find the Kirby's son, Eric Kirby, who's been trapped on the island for 8 weeks after going paragliding with Amanda's boyfriend, Ben. While on the island, they come across quilled raptors and a massive Spinosaurus that antagonizes the crew throughout the film. The Spinosaurus also caused one of the most controversial scenes in the entire franchise. It killed a T-Rex on screen. Back in 2001, this caused a huge upset among moviegoers, and for years people have demanded a rematch, and have even made their own rematches on YouTube, me included. Another problem I had with the movie is that the Kirbys chose Dr. Grant to bring them to Sorna. Wouldn't it have made more sense for the Kirbys to ask Dr. Malcolm for help, seeing how he's actually been on Sorna before? Maybe they did ask him at one point and he flat out refused, and maybe Grant was their next option. Also, despite the hate the Spinosaurus gets from fans of Jurassic Park, I actually thought it was the best part of the movie. I've already mentioned several times that the Spinosaurus has the scariest roar in the entire series, and not to mention that when it's not killing T-Rexes, it's a very intimidating villain. I enjoyed watching the Spinosaurus wreaking havoc on the island. Even the scenes with the other dinosaurs such as the raptors and the pteranodons were fun to watch. The biggest problem with the movie is obviously the battle between the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus, but thousands of people have already covered that, and plus the only reason they did it was because they wanted something that is more terrifying than the T-Rex, and having the T-Rex get killed off was the only way to show the Spinosaurus's true capabilities. Something that would be carried on with future films. Overall, Jurassic Park 3 is bad, there's no doubt about that, but while Fallen Kingdom and Dominion are the boring kind of bad, Jurassic Park 3 is the fun kind of bad. Jurassic World was a great attempt to try and recapture the magic that Jurassic Park had, and honestly, it almost succeeded. The film centers around a new park on Isla Nublar called Jurassic World, and it has been fully functioning with guests for 10 years at this point. But when a new dinosaur called the Indominus Rex is introduced to the park, it escapes and rampages in the park, and chaos ensues. There's also a new set of characters for this movie. The first is Owen Grady, played by Chris Pratt, who works as Jurassic World's resident raptor trainer. I gotta admit, he's a pretty funny character and can be a straight-up savage at times. The main reason I like Owen is because he has common sense. If I was in Jurassic World and they decided to make a completely new dinosaur from scratch, I would be skeptical too. Owen gives the proper reaction to seeing the Indominus Rex and knows what he's doing. Then you've got our other main character. She is, my opinion, the worst, most annoying character to ever come out of the Jurassic franchise. I'm talking even worse than Sarah Harding. Even worse than Amanda Kirby. I ranted about her in my TikTok review of the movie a while back. I am, of course, talking about the one and only Claire Dearing, played by Bryce Dallas Howard. I will try to keep this brief, but trust me, if you've seen Jurassic World, you will understand why I hate this character. For one, she's a complete jerk, especially to Owen, who's just trying to help her, might I add. Seriously, he deserves way better than this. And for two, she makes the stupidest decisions known to mankind, making Amanda Kirby look like she has common sense. But Jason, she's better in the sequels. I don't care. I really don't. Claire is an irredeemable monster and deserves to be eaten by the dinosaurs. My hatred for this character knows no bounds. Sorry if I went off on a little tangent there, but I just hate this character. Let's just move on. As for the rest of the characters, they're meh. Not really that interesting. Maybe a few funny lines came from Lowry and even Masrani himself, but for the most part, the rest of the characters are just there. Oh, and there's also Claire's two nephews, Zach and Gray. Gray is a bit annoying, and Zach is alright. The best part of the movie is without a doubt the climax, when the T-Rex that first appeared back in 1993 squares off with the Indominus Rex, and Blue ends up helping in the end, only for the Mosasaurus to drag the Indominus Rex into the water. The scene was one of the most epic scenes to come out of a Jurassic film. It was just a cinematic masterpiece, and I love it so much. Overall, while it didn't quite manage to recapture the magic of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World came pretty damn close. However, we've still got 2 more movies to cover, and they are... I don't care what anyone says. I think The Lost World Jurassic Park is a really good movie. Sure, the human characters can be annoying, such as Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm and Julianne Moore's Sarah Harding, but apart from that, the story is quite appealing. So basically, John Hammond sends Malcolm to another island called Isla Sorna, where the dinosaurs are roaming freely instead of being in enclosures like in the last film. He's accompanied by Eddie Carr and Nick Van Owen, and they set out to the island. While there, they come across Ian's girlfriend, Sarah Harding, and she makes very poor choices in this movie. In fact, the entire crew does. Ian's daughter, Kelly Malcolm, also stows away and accompanies them on the island. The team also has to compete with InGen themselves as they try to capture the dinosaurs and transport them to a park in San Diego. This team is led by Peter Ludlow, John Hammond's greedy nephew who's just in it for the money. The highlight of the movie is definitely whenever the T-Rex is on screen, or should I say the T-Rexes. Yeah, there's more than one T-Rex in this movie. A mother, a father, and a baby. My favorite scene is when the father T-Rex goes on a rampage in San Diego, looking for his son. While not the best film in the franchise, The Lost World is still a solid film that in my opinion is pretty underrated. Okay, only one more film, and that is... We all saw this coming. Jurassic Park is one of the greatest films of all time, and it deserves the #1 spot for many reasons. The characters are unforgettable, the dinosaurs look so real, and the CGI looks great for 1993 and still holds up to this day. The film is also unique in capturing the magic of the dinosaurs, something the sequels fail to do. The story centers around a paleontologist named Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill, and paleobotanist Dr. Ellie Sattler, played by Laura Dern, who are summoned by an entrepreneur named John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough, to a private island off the coast of Costa Rica to see the new park that is in development. It turns out to be a dinosaur park with real-life dinosaurs brought back from extinction. Everything is great until a storm approaches the island and an underpaid worker by the name of Dennis Nedry, played by Wayne Knight, attempts to sabotage the park in order to smuggle embryos and deliver them to InGen's biggest rival, Biosyn, who we don't end up seeing until Dominion. Apart from Lewis Dodgson, of course. Why it took 5 movies to bring him back, I have no idea, but I digress. As a result of the sabotage, the dinosaurs run loose around the island, including the park's raptors and the queen herself, Rexy. It's almost impossible to think of a favorite scene for this movie. There's a lot of them. From the majestic and peaceful scene with the Brachiosaurus, to the climax with the battle between the T-Rex and the raptors. And let's not forget the score. My God, the score! John Williams did an astounding job with the score. I love hearing the Jurassic Park theme playing in the movie, and it makes everything feel majestic and magical. Sometimes I would even play the song when I'm bored. It's just an excellent song. While Jurassic Park does have its flaws, and let's be honest, all movies do, the original film is without a doubt the best film in the franchise to date. But what do you guys think? What's your favorite Jurassic film? How would you rank the movies? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.